Welcome back. This video is going to shake some of you all's constitution, and if it does, may I suggest going to the Lord in prayer. It all started with the once superstar of all preachers, Karl Lentz, where he was identified by his mistress, Ranin Karim, as being involved in a 5-month-long affair, whom, by the way, is currently telling everyone that will listen about the details of their involvement. The relationship with this woman that wasn't his wife ultimately led to his unceremonious departure from the so-called congregation known as Hillsong, New York City. Following his fall from grace, the founder of Hillsong, Brian Houston, did an interview where he denounced his actions and ultimately condemned Karl Lentz as being arrogant and overall wrong for the events that led to him being ousted from the Hillsong organization. But not long after, Brian Houston himself was accused of doing the exact same thing with a woman who has yet to come forward and probably never will because of the countless amounts of non-disclosure agreements that volunteers and staff members are allegedly required to sign when you are affiliated with the Hillsong conglomerate. The allegations before the congregation in reference to Brian Houston is that in 2019, this man, who people have compared to Jesus himself, was staying at the Pullman Hotel, and if you're familiar with the Pullman hotels, trust me, that is not a cheap hotel. They were drinking. The Hillsong officials were drinking, and Houston, later on that evening, left to go to his room. However, he did not have his key and ended up knocking on the door of this woman. She opens the door, and in he goes. A pastor, Phil Dooley, says that the woman in question did not say if there was any inappropriate activity, and Houston himself claims that there was none. But get this, he was in that woman's room for over 40 minutes, and not shockingly, he does not have much of a recollection because, and I quote, of the mixture of anxiety tablets and the alcohol. Additionally, the woman was also drinking, and she does not miraculously have any recollection of the events that took place in that room for over 40 minutes. Not only that, Brian Houston was also accused of exchanging inappropriate text messages with a staffer in 2013, which resulted in that staff member resigning as recently as March of this year. So, following these revelations, Brian Houston made an announcement that he was resigning 2 weeks ago. But as in true Hillsong fashion, he reemerged saying he is in fact not resigning, but he's, however, deeply sorry to those impacted directly by his actions. And he's sorry for the pain he's caused to his wonderful, forgiving, and gracious family who he loves more than anything, and that he hates hurting them. As for his retraction of his resignation, he says it may be some time before we see the light at the end of the tunnel, but I know God has not finished with us yet. He continues, "What now, you may ask? We are living day by day. Right now, Bobby and I are united, and we are believing together that this year will be a year of respite and restoration to our souls as I continue to prepare to fight for my innocence in the legal proceedings ahead of me." He continues by saying that he still has a sense of bright hope for the future, and he knows God isn't finished with him yet. He added that we, as in him and that woman, have no intentions of retiring, along with that his wife, Bobby, is the most Christ-like, beautiful, loyal, and faithful person alive today. I want to give you a quick rundown of how behaviors in an organization, whether it be religious or not, trickles down from the top to the bottom. So we have pastor, and I use this word very loosely because that's not what he is, Brian Houston, who has his issues, the current allegations, and him blaming the victim of his fathers for so-called tempting his father. His words, allegedly. Then there's another pastor out of the Dallas campus, Pastor Reed and Jess Bogart, who resigned as they were being investigated for what Hillsong calls leadership failures. What are those failures, you ask? Well, Reed Bogart was also being investigated for having an extramarital affair with a junior level staffer. Houston claims he had no knowledge of his actions, when he was appointed as lead pastor of that church. Then we have Darnell Barrett, who was a former creative director at the Mount Clair Church in Jersey. He was also accused of sending inappropriate pictures to a Hillsong volunteer. Finally, as a deflection from all the scandals, they decided to add to their roster their first black pastor, and he was gone within the span of a couple of months, as he resigned, stating something about his congregants not trusting him and that God is calling him elsewhere. Matthew 7, verses 15 and 16 says, "Beware of false prophets, who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravenous wolves. You will recognize them by their fruits." Brian Houston, to me, was never a sheep. He always struck me as a wolf, and his alleged actions have proven me right. And what a fruit this so-called megachurch has borne. This is what a church looks like, in my opinion, when it's built on lies and nepotism, aka sand. When the entire leadership, again, in my opinion, was not called by the God we call Yahweh, Adonai, Elohim, El Shaddai, and Jehovah, but the God who encourages one to indulge in the fruits of the flesh, who also goes by many names: Lucifer, son of the morning, Satan, Beelzebub, and the devil. As the house that was built on sand, Hillsong is in shambles, and Matthew 24:27 closes by saying, "And great was the fall of it." This is quite sad and should serve as an exercise in humility for this organization and those like it. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And if you haven't already, remember to like the video as it helps to support our channel. Subscribe and turn on your notification bell, and please watch when notified. I'd really appreciate it. Lastly, stay tuned for more, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care.